Welcome to your week's, welcome. I'm going to stop that.
Wait, no, that was funny.
Welcome to your week, folks. We do this every Monday. I'm so thankful to my co-host on Mondays. Not only is she a great podcaster, but she's a great writer as well. I'm not going to even make it through this. You go check out her Substack for all of the writing. Go super follow on Twitter and all of this stuff. Let's see what we get into today. There's a lot of pop culture stories, but of course I can't ignore everything that's going on in the world. And I know Sophie cannot either. And that's why I've always admired about Sophie. How are you, Sophie Russ?
Yeah, it was a tough weekend to be a woman.
Wait, finally, now do you see how it feels to be a guy? It's always been a tough week to be a woman. Like,
oh my God. Yeah, I know, you're right. Thank you for being an ally, by the way, Ryan.
But you know how easy it is to be an ally for women? Like, all you have to do is just let them fucking choose their own choice. Like, I mean, like,
exactly. It's like, why does it bother you? Why does it bother you? And I had people in my DMs. I was posting about it all weekend. I had people in my DMs. I had people on, sorry.
Oh my God, that's them right now.
I had people in my DMs. I had people unfollowing me. Yeah. And you know what? There's right and wrong in my opinion. It's like, I will never understand it. I will never understand the other side. And I think I've been posting a lot about how forced birth and denial of abortions is against the Jewish religion. And I really feel like as a Jewish woman, I'm living in a Christo-fascist state. And yeah, it's
I just keep thinking little things like that. I try to understand. And like I said, I'm not like Mr. Science and I'm not the smartest man in the world, but the thing I don't understand is that, like, how about the 35% of Americans that don't believe in God at all? Like, whatever, that don't believe, like, these things that, right. Even in the Jewish world, like, I just find it very interesting. And I know, I'm not going to harp on this, you guys, and I know I'll get probably hate mail for this and bad review, all that shit. But I think it's worth it. This is a health issue as well. Like, right. This is a health issue that if you read just any of the accounts, like, just read it with an open heart and just kind of hear stories about women that are really scared just this doesn't just entail, like, people aren't like getting abortions for fun. These are people that actually have like really it's just really, really scary
pregnancies, for instance. If you can't get an abortion for some of these, even if a miscarriage doesn't dispel itself, you have to get that removed. Or else you die. It literally poisons you. It's like decay inside of your body that's poisoning you and you die. So yeah, it's absolutely a health issue. IVF will be affected.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was reading, which by the way, like, IVF has like helped so many of my friends, but what could happen with this is that they will not then allow testing or these things could actually hold up the actual birthing of people that want to have children. Like, this is it's just really interesting. It's very scary, and we knew this was going to happen, but I don't think it still was very devastating. It still is. In fact, I was just watching Glastonbury, the big music festival over there overseas, and Kendrick Lamar ended his set, and he was doing women's rights, like women's rights. Phoebe Bridgers did the same thing. Olivia Rodrigo even had Lily Allen come out.
She listed out all of the Supreme Court justices that overturned Roe v. Wade, and she goes, "Fuck you, we hate you," and everyone was like, "Yeah."
Which is like, what is she, 16 or 17? That's great,
That's what needs to happen. It's, when celebrities speak out, people listen and people pay attention and the media pays attention. And yeah, I appreciate all the celebrities that are speaking out.
Well, it is, it is interesting, and it's scary. Yet it's scary that celebrities do have that big of an impact, but they truly do. The silence from the Housewives community is deafening. Like, I need some Housewives to speak out. I said earlier, I saw Countess Luann in concert on Friday, and that was the only time I was like, oh my God, will Countess say anything about Roe v. Wade? She did not. I thought that could have been a real not great moment, actually. Like, I can't imagine how Countess Luann would have spoken about that, but it was it was really weird just thinking about the cult of celebrity in terms of the messages that are able to put out there. But if Olivia Rodrigo, a 17-year-old woman that has so many eyes on her, if Billie Eilish can do these things, I mean, these are really important things. And the only thing I hate to say is that, like, I hate to say that my generation is lost, that we just have to wait this out. And, next generation, hopefully you guys can pick it up and do something cool with it. But it's just such a wild world week after week.
I know it feels like we're living in like a hellish dystopia. And yeah, and I mean, I know a lot of people that are very like, well, you're lucky to live in the greatest nation in the world. And it's like, I felt that way for a really long time. And I do appreciate the liberties that we do still have here. They're like going down by the day. But I do realize that our lives are cushy compared to a lot of other people in other countries. But yeah, it doesn't feel like this is the greatest country in the world right now. I actually was talking to someone. I was like, this is not democracy. And it was actually I'm not going to reveal who it is, but it's an older, wise gentleman. And he basically was explaining that this isn't a democracy. It's a constitutional republic, I guess. And while we have democracies, our government is a constitutional republic. I'm like, why the hell have we been told that we're in this great democracy when it's not a freaking democracy? I was like, it's like a banana republic here. And they were like, no, not quite. But yeah.
Was the older wise man, was that me? Did I do it? I knew I didn't say, I was like, that sounds smart coming from me. That's amazing. Well, I mean, just as a woman, what can we do? Like, what are I always want to believe, and my dad is like, kind of like really try to instill that in me, is like trying to always find some kind of slice of hope or something like that. Can you take any hope from this? What are the next steps? And I know, like I said, this is an entertainment show, but to get to the entertainment, we need to actually do stuff to protect the entertainment,
I think people need to like actually get angry. Like people were saying that like cute signs aren't going to work. Like we need to get angry and we need to, actually go out there. And I'm like not a proponent of doxing, but like I want these Supreme Court justices to feel uncomfortable for the rest of their miserable lives. And yeah, I feel like we just need to get loud and angry and also donate to your local abortion fund. Planned Parenthood has big donors and is covered in that department. It's better for you to be donating to local smaller abortion funds. And if you're in like a do or die state in terms of your next governor, make sure to vote. So yeah, and I hate when people say that. I keep hating when people are like, you guys need to vote. And it's like, we did. We literally are, Democrats are in control of everything right now. The presidency, the Senate, Congress. It's like, but we still are in this situation. But yeah, I guess vote for your local officials because now, quote unquote, it's in the power of the states. Like, shut up.
Well, and also it's like you feel like you're in an unending episode of Veep on HBO because like everything I'll watch on Twitter, like it's like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, like just saying wild shit that is like, is this a joke? Like I was like sometimes you're like, oh my God, if this wasn't real, it would be hysterical. Like there's just some wild things being said.
I wish Selena Meyer was the president right now. I feel like we'd be in better hands.
So to take a hard left, and I also talked about this at the beginning of the show, folks. I do want to take a hard left. This is breaking news. Just to get us, this is breaking. Ben Affleck's 10-year-old son backs Lamborghini into car. Ben Affleck today let his 10-year-old son move his very expensive yellow Lamborghini, and the kid backed it right into a white car.
Why would he do that though? Why would he let his 10-year-old do that?
He's trying to he's trying to explain to the kid that I'm still your dad and like I do cool things with you on the weekend,
That's on him. That's on him.
And J-Lo was there on the scene. Could you imagine crashing your car in front of J-Lo?
That's so funny. He was probably like, fuck.
Yeah. And then there's a picture because thankfully Ben's rich. He was there. He's laughing. He's like, this is how it is. Like, I remember, have you ever gotten into a car accident?
Ryan, I don't know if you know this about me. I got in a car accident the first day I had my driver's license, and many subsequent car accidents, which is why I'm not on the roads anymore.
Wait, is that why you moved to New York?
It
It's like
works
less
out.
driving.
I haven't driven a car, and I feel bad about it because when I'm like driving places with people, it's like I can't help. So I want to get my driver's license again, but I haven't driven a car in 8 years.
Wait, what was the experience on the day you did? Like, who was with you? Were you by
Oh my
yourself?
God. It's so ridiculous. No, I was with a couple friends and we were being like badass 16-year-olds. And we had beer in the back of my trunk. And we weren't drunk driving or anything. We were just driving to my friend's house for like a party or something.
Yeah.
And I was like reversing in front of my friend's house, just backing up and like trying to park. Didn't realize it was like an empty neighborhood. And then there was an old lady in her car behind me. I backed into her car and then she called the police. And I was like freaking out because I had like beer. But like thankfully they didn't look in my trunk, but they looked at my driver's license and they were like, "You got this today." And I was like, "Correct."
I aced it. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
I failed it the first time. And
no.
Yeah.
I remember borrowing, like, I got into an accident on a day, like I told this story on some on a date where it was like I had really, like, it was so nerve wracking to ask this girl out when I was like 17. It was like the first time I'd ever asked a girl out, and she said yes. And then it was like this long story, but she eventually said, "Hey, can we make this a group date instead of a date?" And instead of getting down, I was like, "I'll make this the best group date you've ever gone on." I mean, I said that inside my head, not to her. And I bought 50 tickets to a movie, and because I had saved up all summer long at the movie theater.
Why did you buy 50?
Because I invited the whole show choir, and they said they would pay me like I was on a show choir, like a badass. And so they all said they'd pay me back. Like only like 20 people ended up paying me back, you guys. I bought a new outfit. I borrowed my mom's cabriolet and had the top down. And when my buddies were in the back seat, she was in the front seat, Dana. And I turned around to tell them to like sit down because they were like being goofballs. And when I did that, I guess I was slowing down and I rammed right into a car in front of me. And it was it like all of a sudden, like it was that moment where it was like fun for like 5 minutes where I was like, I think this might work out for old Ryan. Like, I think she might like me. And then just the serious, like, then I dented in this guy's, like his whole back of his thing. For some reason, it didn't do really anything to my mom's car. But then I realized I didn't have my driver's license on me. And I had the last $80 of my summer money with me. And I was like, and you just know from movies, I was like, can I pay this guy off? And the guy must have been transporting drugs or something, because he just said, be safer next time. Be more careful.
Wait,
and
he didn't
let me go.
Money?
Let me go.
Wow.
But then the rest of the ride to the movie theater was the most somber ride that you've ever been on. And then we get to the movie theater, all the show choirs there. It's sold out movie. There's 2 seats left in the theater, and I give it to her and her friend Nicole. I stand at the back of the movie theater the entire movie. In fact, I gave up halfway through the movie and bought like Twizzlers and a soda and bought a USA Today and just sat on the curb and read during the movie. Like that was the last time I asked somebody out on a date.
Oh my God. That's really depressing.
Yeah. Like yours is cool. You were like transporting beer. You bought, like, there was like an element of danger, you know, like this was just like me, like just pussy on top of pussy. Anyways, shout out to Ben's son.
Yeah. Wait, what's his name again? Samuel?
Let's see. His name is Samuel Garner Affleck.
See, this is the kind of information that I have stored in my brain. Like,
yeah, you knew it. Me, I didn't even know it. I just read the article. You're like, what's his name? Samuel? Yeah. Born in 89, right? I know.
Yeah.
No, he's only 10 years old, and this kid's already driven and wrecked a better car than I will ever be involved with. Yep. So shout out to rich kids. And by the way, I wonder if Ben Affleck gets pissed about stuff like that, because he's like, he grew up on the hard streets of Boston. Like, how does he instill anything into those kids when you're with, like, you're already super successful and you're with J-Lo?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, that's why you always see these rich kids like growing up and, you know, getting into trouble, because they have these upbringings of like the fact that he laughed it off. I'm like, oh my God, if I did that with one of my dad's cars that are not Lamborghinis at the age of 30 years old, oh my God, I would be in so much trouble.
I mean, even at this age, I've done everything in my power to not get that look from my dad where he's like, You know, like when you tell your dad's like upset, but he's like trying to keep it cool. Like
Yeah.
that is the look I've always tried to steer completely
Oh
away
yeah.
from.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's see here. As we go down, did you watch Ultimate Girls Trip season 2, any of the episodes on Peacock?
No, I wasn't able to watch anything this week. I'm so sorry. I didn't get
No,
to
no,
watch
no, no,
Beverly
no.
Hills.
It's all
I
good.
didn't get to watch Southern Charm. I need
You
to watch
didn't even
that.
watch Southern
I
Charm.
was so mad, but like we just had so many like things to do at night, and then like I had to work, and I just never
Because
got to
you
do
went out
it.
of town again. I talked to you beforehand, but the audience said they didn't
Yeah.
talk to you.
Well, yeah, we were in Chicago for the week staying with my sister, and it was really nice. And then we went to Philadelphia to see my boyfriend's parents. And yeah, now I'm just now like back.
You know,
Yeah.
people like you that are out there living an actual life, it really upsets me because I feel like you rub it in my face of like, look
No,
at this amazing life I'm living where I couldn't even watch the TV that you worship, right? Like it is really like I am so jealous of you. Like you
I'm
are out there
I'm
living.
upset. I'm upset that I'm so behind on my TV. It's upsetting.
Sophie, you're good. Let me explain what happened. Like it's same bullshit on Southern Charm. I loved it, but it's Austin doing his whole like flirting with the new girl thing. We find out he had some issues with Craig, and Craig doesn't trust Austin because he tried to um uh tell Paige that he cheated on her, like
Oh
you know,
yeah.
but Craig had already told Paige. And then Shep's like back in the scene. Catherine's with a new guy. Catherine explodes on Naomi at the end of the episode on her 30th birthday, has a really bad like makeup / skin reaction happening too. So it's really fun to watch. And then you have Leva and who is the other girl that was on last season that's back? Vanita. Leva, Vanita, and Naomi are like a threesome power group, but it just seems like the same. Paige came in and tried to say a couple of her funny Paige witticisms.
Oh,
And yeah, I mean, that was it. There was nothing really crazy happened. The only thing weird though is that they had one scene in one version I watched where we got an update on Michael, Patricia's butler. Man, you know, remember
yeah.
he had a spinal stroke and he no longer works for Patricia. He's now in a nursing home area. So Whitney, her son, they cut this out of the last time I watched it today. They cut this scene out, but they had Whitney cleaning up after the dog poops and stuff. Do you know how old Whitney is?
Isn't he like almost 50?
He's 56 years old.
Oh my God.
He looks great for 50s. First off, he looks great.
But what is he even doing?
Well, I guess he's like, you know, he plays that guitar a lot. But no, I think he was like a producer. He produces Southern Charm, by the way. I've heard some stories back in the day where like I had some people that partied with like Shep and Whitney and all that. So just like they partied really hard, you know?
Oh, I'm sure.
They were transporting multiple beers in a vehicle like you did when you were 16.
Oh my God. I honestly I'm really excited to watch. I need to watch it like right after this.
Now, Beverly Hills, Sophie, let me take you through Beverly Hills really quick. Erica, she's big and wasted this episode. She's like, I'm lit, Erica. So she's on a yacht, but it's like a little yacht. Diana Jenkins is like, this is just an okay yacht. It's not a great yacht. And she's there, and Erica is just hammered because she says she's mixing, you know, SSRIs like Lexapro with alcohol. But then we find out it's not that. She's also on time release, not morphine, but what's the Xanax? She's on time release Xanax.
All right.
That's what's doing it. It's like this gives SSRIs like a bad rap. Like it's not,
you know, like SSRIs. I'm fine when I drink, honestly. If anything,
that's what I said.
More sober. I have to drink more in order to feel something.
I have to really go after it if I want to get messed up, you know? So yeah, like, so she was on time release Xanax and she's in the cabin, just drunk by herself, monologuing, like just fully monologuing by herself. And she says, we used to have a boat. It was called the Illegal. They called their boat the Illegal. Like, isn't that dark when you've stolen most of your money?
Oh, and I did see the part where they were dancing too. It's expensive to be mad.
And someone was like, I will not dance to that song. I do not feel right dancing to that song.
Yeah. Sutton was like, she was like, nope, nope, nope.
It's like, I don't know, this week's episode, everybody's so fucking hard on Beverly Hills this season because it's not last season, which it never can be again. But I don't know. I find the minutia, like I even like, and this is the two things can be true at once. I can dislike Erica and still find drunken Erica entertaining. Like I'm a grown up enough where I can enjoy things like that.
Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts. I'm behind bars soon enough.
Well, did you know in September, the estate sale actually happens? So Girardi Keys had the law estate sale, but they were having the estate sale in Pasadena. So once I get the catalog, I'm going to I want you to pick out something nice for yourself. And yeah, like something nice. My friend was like, she wants something in that prayer room that Erica has.
Oh my God.
That'd be something nice. Maybe, we could get something for your parents or something, just something like really.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
The holidays. I'm guessing since you didn't see any TV, you didn't see any movies, but Elvis and Top Gun Maverick are battling it out at the box office. Elvis, of course, stars Austin Butler, who is still doing the Elvis character. Will you see Elvis this summer?
Thank you for being.
Hey, you seen Beverly Hills, Sophie? A hunk of burning love. That's what I'll call Erica Jane.
Wait, no. Austin Butler's face annoys me. I think I've said that before. My grandma saw it, and she's the grandma straight.
Oh, your grandma has good taste.
Yeah, she's like obsessed with she loves the art of acting and theater.
She's classic.
She said it was really good. She said it was sad, but really good. And I was like, how was Austin Butler? Didn't he suck? And she was like, no. But if she really thinks that someone killed it, she'll be like, oh, he was fabulous. She always says fabulous. She didn't think he was fabulous. She was like, yeah, he was pretty good.
Do you ever tell your grandma to take it down a notch? Grandma, take it down a notch. I'm joking. My grandma is 98 years old and she's been in this retirement home now for years. And she always it's these last years, she's just indestructible, but her favorite TV show is called Hunter from the 80s. And it's I don't even think they do reruns of Hunter anymore. And when you're at that point, you can't explain technology really to your grandma. So it's there's this whole thing out there. And I'm she's literally, sometimes I'm just oh my God, what the F are we going to do when we're older? Especially if we don't have kids, what are we going to do?
I want to be just like my grandma. Whenever she
walks
into a room, she's like, yoo-hoo.
Wait, do you have any Sophie-isms that, because I don't get to hang out with you in real life. Do you have any Sophie-isms that your friends, you come into a party like yoo-hoo? Do you have Sophie-isms in real life?
Okay, I don't do yoo-hoo. But whenever I'm going out to eat and the waiter puts down the receipt or whatever, I'm like, what's the damage? Every single time. That's how everyone always prepares for it. I can't help it. I say it every time.
That's what I saw a meme last week about. It was rock musicians and your dad, and the thing that they both do is when they say when your dad gets up from a table at a restaurant, let's rock and roll. My dad's always, okay, let's hit it. Let's rock and roll. There's always these dad things, or
they're the bus is leaving.
Yeah. Or always when I was a kid, this always used to irk me. My dad would be like, hey, let me take a bite of your sandwich, see if it's poisoned. Yeah, and I'm
always.
Dude, if you really thought my sandwich was poisoned, let's just not eat it at all. That's a whole bite,
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways,
Daily Harvest lentil crumbles.
Oh, wait, you wrote about this and I made a note to talk about this so Daily Harvest, you guys, which thankfully has never been a sponsor on this show, is they did this fun little promotion where they started trying to kill their clientele. What happened? They just had a bad batch of lentils? So
basically they introduced this stuff called French lentil and leek crumbles and this other crumble with walnuts in it. And a crumble, you may ask, it's a meat you can I guess put on flatbreads or tacos or whatever. I don't do that shit, but whatever. And people have gotten their gallbladder removed. It's not regular food poisoning. They literally have been rushed to the ER, had jaundice, thought they were dying, had to get their gallbladders removed. Literally multiple people, all because of this.
How long has this been happening?
And there have been reports about it since April. So that's why the social media, everyone talking about it on social media, it finally led to Daily Harvest warning their customers in like a serious way on social media. And because originally they just sent out an email, they're just like, guys, people are reporting gastrointestinal problems. And it was like, just an update. It wasn't like,
hope you're having a great summer, you guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, P.S. you might lose your organs. Like, it should
wait.
have been like, warning, recalled product. And they didn't even like reach out to everyone. So there are going to be like many, many, many lawsuits. And people are also saying that some of the other foods, like not just lentil crumbles, have been making them sick too with like similar symptoms. So yeah.
Wait, so they kept selling even though they knew that it was bad?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Apparently. So there are going to be lots of lawsuits.
Can you imagine going on Daily Harvest because you've decided to like get clean and eat clean and all that, and then all of a sudden you get a bad batch of lentils
and it almost kills you? And some people are going to have permanent liver damage.
Damn, that's like, this is why I don't eat healthy anymore. Also, Tom Cruise, by the way, this almost makes Scientology acceptable. Top Gun has reached $1 billion in worldwide grosses, the first Tom Cruise movie to ever do that. So,
wow,
isn't that wild? Yeah,
that is crazy. I feel like he's probably been in a bunch of billion-dollar movies.
No, like we're in that
possible
700, 800 million, which is chump change compared to $1 billion. Like F that, you know. Let's see here. On to our really not favorite family, the Kardashians. I don't know if you've been following any of the Khloe discourse, but I spent Friday night after the Countess Luann show watching Hot Ones on the. Have you ever watched the them eating all the hot sauces on that show Hot Ones on YouTube?
Oh, like I don't watch it for fun, but like I've seen it. Like I don't go out of my way.
Yeah. Well, I went out of my way to watch it because of Khloe, and then I just started watching it because the guy, the host, is like really good. It's like a dream job. He'll like make him take a bite of something, and then he'll ask him a really specific question that is like, he'll give him a easy one at first. Like he asked Khloe. Khloe, by the way, goes on the show, and they're filming for the second season of Kardashians because he's like, we're very excited to have your camera crew here. And she's like, yeah, I don't like hot sauce. I don't like hot things. And I don't actually eat chicken. So, but she does all of that in this, which I'm like, how desperate are you to be on Hot Ones?
Yeah.
So she eats the first one, or like the bite. She's like, okay, I can deal with this. And he's like, softball question of like, do you know now from working on your reality shows that you can tell when people fudge you know, the storyline or use Frankenstein editing? She'll be like, great question. Yes, I do. And all that. But then as the intensity of the heat rises throughout, it's really fun because you can see kind of a moment where Khloe's.
What did he ask? That was like juicy.
Well, see, Khloe, well, unfortunately, I think Khloe was one of the least interesting ones I've seen on Hot Ones from what I saw, just because he was just asking things, just like there was never a term of like the Tristan stuff, or it was always just the life she's led up to this point. Good American, you know, having the size range. I've heard a lot of these Khloe bites already, but it was fun change of pace to watch her eternally scream inside from hot sauce. Like you could see, like she started tearing up, and that's like really exciting to see. But like then I just I went back and watched a bunch of this dude's ones, and I just really, the conceit of the show is just really good. How like this actual heat is so disarming, and you see like Gordon Ramsay did one where he threw up. Like he couldn't handle it. Like he was like, oh shit, and it was like no joke. He had to stop and run and go throw up.
Oh my God. Wait, what if he was like, have you had your BBL reduced?
By the way, but see, that's what I would love. But you know, the Kardashians don't do anything without approval for questions, you know, like that. Of course, we would all want to know that. And I think the answer is completely yes. At this point, if we don't believe that, something's wrong. Let's see here. Khloe also is now dating supposedly investment banker on Hot Ones. This was a question. He asked what was the best way to flirt with Khloe. She says that a simple compliment could go a long way in winning her heart. Like also, what about just not cheating on her? That could go a long way too. I
will believe that she's dating a private equity investor when I see him. I'm sorry. People have been saying for years, like, Khloe just needs to date an accountant. Like enough like athletes. And what do you have it?
Is it? Wait. See, we've said that on the show so many times, like honestly, and I'm not saying that like, but
Maybe
like, isn't
it's
it
a good PR move for her?
But isn't it weird
like,
that all of a sudden she is?
Yep. I mean, it's like, what are the odds? Like,
dude, you got to talk to is MJ Corey. I talked to Kardashian Colloquium. Do you know that account? Kardashian KOLLIQUIUM. She takes everything from like a collegiate kind of standpoint. Yeah, look up Kardashian Colloquium, and I know you know this, but on TikTok she's even bigger, and she does a YouTube called Between Two Salads. And we talked about the Kardashians on Thursday's episode, and she comes at it from this kind of grad degree level of being able to like all the stuff we talk about it, but she does it in terms of, just putting framework behind all of the moves that they make,
Yeah.
You got to check her out.
I just followed. So.
Okay, cool. Also, okay. So as we, move on, Sarah Jessica Parker asks fans to stop calling her gray hair brave. She did interviews with InStyle and Allure, says, I honestly don't think about it. I mean, that's the God's honest truth. We're about to gear up for the second season of And Just Like That, where we are confirmed with Che Diaz being in the show again. Do you think this is positive when somebody like Sarah Jessica Parker says, I don't give a fuck what you say about my hair or my looks?
Yeah, no, I love that about her.
I do kind of think that's actually super attractive,
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it sounds good about. We don't have to fight aging. Just like own it, honey.
Yeah, own it, honey. What she said, own it, honey. Selling Sunset, you guys got picked up for 2 new seasons this past week, along with Mauricio Umansky's Buying Sunset. Did you see this on Netflix that Mauricio has a show with his 2 daughters? And I was postulating this.
I'm gonna watch.
Oh, dude, I'll watch a fucking test pattern. I don't have taste. Like, I'll watch anything. Do you think that one day, like, I feel like they are positioning themselves as a family where Kyle could eventually get out of the family business, get out of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and kind of move on to greener pastures in terms of actual acting roles?
She probably could if she wanted to do regular acting roles. She could probably get them if she wanted to, and if she wanted to not work at all, she could definitely do that too. They have enough money. So like, I don't know, I feel like she's just doing whatever she wants at this point.
Do you dream big? Is there a number in your head where you're like, if I make this in my lifetime, I will retire? Do you vision board shit and like think big thoughts like that?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously want to retire, and I, have savings for that reason. But I don't know if there's
what is this savings you speak of? What does that mean? What is that?
But like, I don't think there's like a specific number, or like, I'm not like a vision. I always see influencers doing this. They're like vision board.
Yes.
Like one of them had like a vision board with like the Chanel logo on it and like YSL logo. And then she's like, oh, I vision boarded this and now I have partnerships with them. So like, probably works with other people. I probably, if my ADD wasn't so bad, I probably could sit down and maybe it would be good for my ADD.
I mean, maybe, but also I think at the end of the day, like I used to have to make vision boards in acting class, which is already painful if you're an actor. You're already like, oh, it's already bad for me. And then you're having to sit around in class with a bunch of magazines, like cutting out Steve Carell's picture and like different little things of like what you're trying to go for. Like vision boards are cool, but you have to really go there. And I think going there is hard for me because everything in my body screams like this is completely silly. Speaking of vision boards that don't work, Freddie Mellencamp, you guys, Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, she has nothing to do with it, but she's talking all about it. She cannot dare be left out of the discourse for season 2, but this is kind of funny. It might be staged, who knows, but she got into it with Vicky Gunvalson. Now she tweeted, you guys, I think you're the one that told me about it. Did you watch the Vanessa Bayer show? I Love That For You on Showtime?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I kept seeing ads for it and I was like, I need to check that out. But I saw that Teddy, who started the Twitter exchange.
So Freddie Mellencamp tweeted last week. She said, this is interesting. I saw this Showtime show with Vanessa Bayer about a girl who scams her way into a job by lying about having cancer. seems familiar, right, Vicky? You know, and then Vicky was like, how dare you? How dare you do this? Immediately got riled up and then was like, just leave my name out of your mouth. And then Teddy follows it up with, well, oh, because Vicky was like, I was on 14 seasons. How many were you on? 4? And then Teddy goes, well, if we're talking numbers, could you let us know where you were on January 6th?
Haha, I saw that. That was actually a good own on Freddie.
It's a good own, but part of me is like, you didn't write that, Freddie.
I know,
like Tamara wrote that for Freddie.
Yeah, I'm like, who came up with that for you? There's no way.
I don't like, do you think it's weird if for people to get into discourse when they've kind of done the same, or we're like, Teddy shouldn't be talking about scams and frauds and all that when she's actively been involved in a scam, you know?
Right. Like, shut up. Yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't you completely stay away?
She's in no place to be throwing stones, but it's fine. I'll let it slide this time. Judge
Sophie Ross lets it slide this time, but you're on notice. Do you got to watch this?
On notice.
Yeah. With this, Sophie's on notice. That was great. By the way, tune into YouTube for the actual light change that we just did right there. Yeah. Oh, by the way, for YouTube, this is me doing Luann in the bushes.
Are you watching content for YouTube?
Do you? I do want you to watch Girls Trip eventually, though, just for your own. I'm falling in love with Phaedra again from Real Housewives of Atlanta.
It seems just like a good cast. Like, I like miss some of those ladies, so I want to watch them, obviously.
I got to tell you, man, Brandy scares the shit out of me.
I know.
Like,
she's the one I miss the most. Her and Taylor Armstrong, I just want to embrace right now.
Taylor is like Brandy, though. Like, I went in with good vibe, but she already, in the first episode, is already like goes for the jug. Like, she's just... Man, I will always not regret not click. Like, she liked me on Hinge once, you guys. I'm so proud, and I never, I never did anything about it. Did you watch this new show? I bet you haven't, but all the girls are talking about it. So the summer I turned pretty.
I knew what you were gonna say, and I haven't watched it yet. But again, it's like I haven't been able to watch TV this week, but I need to watch it, and I'm going to.
My roommate had a couple of the shows on in the background, and it really made me feel so old because it was like, I think if I was like younger, I would really dig it because the soundtrack is killer. Like, the soundtrack has all of these like amazing alternative musicians. But then it's like kids talk, like there's like a bisexual kid. And I'm like, man, my growing up, Beverly Hills 90210 didn't even have this shit. You kids are so lucky. This is so advanced.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've heard it's great. And also, yeah, it's by the people that did To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
I watched that too.
I remember that having a great soundtrack too. So,
speaking of great soundtracks, there's no segue there. Actually, Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports. Would you ever think that Dave Portnoy and you would be on the same end of an issue?
Oh, is this about what he posted at Roe v. Wade?
Yeah, like he actually said, "This is insane."
I appreciate him speaking out because a lot of men aren't right now. I also, it's like he falls in that category of guys that are worried that they're going to have to raise children. So I don't entirely believe that it's like altruistic, but yeah.
No. I mean, like, listen, like but I think it's more honest than some of these other dudes. Like, all those, like, we've proven all those Republican congressmen. I mean, that Ivanka Trump tweet from her friend from school was like, yo, you're very quiet today, but your high school friends that drove you for your abortion are not. And I was just like, that's the reality of this situation, is that everybody's been affected by this in some way or another. I just found it interesting about Dave Portnoy. It's like, finally, he's like, yo, this shit's a little too wild even for me,
Right. And that shows you how bad it's gotten.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I still don't understand. Like, I keep getting these ads for like this BFFs pod on my TikTok, where the conceit of the show seems to be Dave Portnoy talks to like this 17-year-old boy and a 17-year-old girl about their love lives. Or that's what I can pick up from like the TikTok thing. I was like, is that the podcast? He just talks about TikTok drama with these kids?
I haven't seen that nor heard it. And no, thank you.
Yeah. I literally was like, oh my God, is this my future? This probably could be huge news, Sophie, for you, particularly on Friday. You're going to have to get back into a TV watching mood because the final 2 parts of Stranger Things will be
yeah.
airing on Friday, which each one I believe is an hour and a half. So you got 3 or 4 hours of TV ahead of you.
I am pumped. Trust me. Pumped.
Will you guys be doing? Will you be doing any fun like themed foods or?
We were talking about doing like a watch party, but then it's like the 4th of July weekend. So like everyone.
Oh shit! It's the 4th of July weekend. Okay. Oh. Hey, what would you? Jen Shaw's court trial is coming up in July. How crazy would it be if I reported live from the trial for like 3 days? Is that insane, or is that beyond the pale? Is that disgusting?
Is the trial going to be in Utah?
No, actually, it's going to be in New York.
Oh, then I'll go with you.
The Southern District, baby.
I'll go with you then.
Would you really? Because then we could actually get audio from like just passerbys. We could like, because you could do like just man on the street things, just 2 or 3 days. Or like we probably only need 1 day of like actual footage, but it could be really fun.
Let's do it.
And also raise awareness to not steal from people.
I'm so down.
Beyonce is topping the charts once again. Do you like Beyonce's new song? We talked about Drake's house music phase last week. She dropped a house music track as well.
Yeah, I'm into it. I do like all of the house music vibes. I know a lot of people are criticizing them right now, but like I'm into it.
Dude, that Beyonce one, I feel like right now, especially, it is so inspiring.
Yeah, no, she really hit the nail on the head with what we're going through as a society.
Bad news if you are a fan of Love. 2 people split up this week that we never saw coming. Kendall and Devin Booker have broken up after a 2-year courtship. And every quote that we get from this breakup announcement is like, they're okay. They're all good. Like nobody seems crushed or broken up. Nobody even really seems to care about a Kendall Jenner breakup. What does that mean to you?
I'm devastated personally.
No, I know personally, but like everybody else really not upset at all.
I mean, I think that this is the biggest tragedy that's happened this week.
That's the energy I want behind this. Yes. It is a huge tragedy.
I mean, like, yeah, does anyone care? Like, do either of them really have like a big fan base? Don't really think so.
It's very interesting. Just even in terms of like memes, like even the memes of these, nobody really seemed to really get into like even making jokes about it, which is always like a bad sign. You've seen Squid Game, correct?
Yes, loved it.
Okay. So they're doing this reality show on Netflix, the actual Squid Game. They're not going to be killing people, but they will be doing a lot of the same things for a cash prize. Now, they promise this will not be killing people, but they're going to try to replicate what Squid Game is. And if you guys haven't watched it, it's really like a really gripping drama that I fell in love with over the holidays, but it's really gory. And it's about like being the last person to stand to win all of this money. So a lot of people end up dying. Would you sign up for a Squid Game?
Wait, should I? That'd be so funny.
It would be cool. Like if you like, cause like you would like, just think about the drama. And if they had that big old lady that has guns in her eyes, or remember like that big old doll at the first challenge. What's that big old doll? Remember the big old doll?
With the
green light, red light.
Yeah. Green
light. Yeah, no, I don't know if I would like sign. I feel like that's a recipe for disaster. I feel like Netflix could like, they actually laid off another 300 people this week on top of the 300 they did a couple months ago. And now I feel like Netflix is so desperate. They're actually going to kill somebody just for publicity, you know?
I saw someone that was like, oh, goody. The Netflix used these people's salaries to pay for the cash prize on the Squid Game show.
I mean, kind of like you do want, like, sometimes I'll watch something so obscure that Netflix has put so much money into making that I'm like, this seems like it was made just for me. And I might be the only one watching. And it feels like that might have backfired somewhere along the way.
Yep. Fast fashion of streaming services. I
know, but like, I mean, these things, it's like America. These things aren't guaranteed. Someday Netflix could go away if they don't make the right moves.
Yeah.
In my favorite person to talk about, Ezra Miller, this week, a news story comes out that they are on a farm where they are housing 3 young children and a mother. According to Rolling Stone, did this entire article that says they are sitting on a cache of guns and bullets, and the 1-year-old put a loose bullet in their mouth. That there's just I mean, I don't know, like this just does not, every week it just does not seem like this is going well, yet nothing seems to be ever done. And I get scared it's one of those stories where eventually somebody will die, and then we've just been making jokes about it for a year.
It gets right. It doesn't seem like it's going to end well. Every day it's like it's escalating just every day. I wonder like what Ezra's like agents in like, because we haven't necessarily heard that like agents have dropped them. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's still agents around. Like, what are they saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like, supposedly we got a rumor that DC said they're going to release this film Flash, but they're not going to have him be Flash in anything else. But there was no like actual confirmation that that was actually true. But at this point, like my thought this week was like, you better release the Flash movie this week, because a year from now, when they release this thing, nobody's going to want to see it because we've heard so many horrific stories about this dude.
Right. I don't know what's going to happen with it, honestly. Like, what are they going to do?
But it's just one of those things. It's just, I feel like we've been getting like clues and hints now for a year and still nothing is done. So it's like, well, what else is going to come out? Like each story gets like a little weirder. Like at least he's out of Hawaii now, but now he's in Vermont.
Right. Like what is going on?
I don't know. Beanie Feldstein, you guys, who is Jonah Hill's sister, a fine actor. They based this musical, not based, but they redid the musical Funny Girl on Broadway right now. And they put Beanie Feldstein as the lead, did a whole big campaign, and Beanie Feldstein got savaged by the critics. All the critics supposedly really dislike Beanie Feldstein in this role. And, she was supposed to do it for at least a year, and now she's going to do it for 6 months. Her and Jane Lynch will be leaving, and supposedly the rumor is Lea Michele will be coming in to take Beanie's place. But also good news for Beanie, she got engaged to her longtime girlfriend this weekend, which I thought was very nice.
That is nice. Yeah. But the whole like Lea Michele replacing her thing is like so funny, because everyone was saying for so long that Lea Michele really wanted that role, but everyone kind of like canceled Lea Michele and Beanie got it instead. And now it's like it went to Lea Michele in the end. Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I guess, is that nature healing? I don't know. Yeah. Also, in terms of the Astroworld tragedy, we had a press release this week that Travis Scott recently bought a $5.5 million Bugatti Veyron Chiron. And so this was put out that he had just bought this, but then Travis Scott's camp is firing back saying this was not true. He bought that car a while ago. So it wasn't this week. He bought it a while ago before the tragedy, which almost, they say that this was put out by the attorneys of the kids' parents that have lost their lives because they want to make him look bad. And I'm like, I think he already looks bad. I don't think he needs really like tons of help,
Right.
But,
well, that makes me feel a little bit better that it was purchased before Astroworld, I guess.
But like I also then worry about Travis Scott even more when you're paying $5.5 million for a car. Like, you don't think that money would come in handy somewhere down the line, just even for your personal family?
No, it's insane. It's insane.
We talked about Glastonbury earlier, but I thought this was like a really cool moment. Paul McCartney closed out Saturday night's set, and he brought out Dave Grohl for his first live performance since the passing of his drummer Taylor Hawkins. And then just a couple minutes later, he brought Bruce Springsteen out. And as a music festival lover, that must have just been a really cool moment. And you got to have like positive, cool moments like that like kind of keep us going for all this other bullshit,
Yeah, except Paul McCartney is still doing the Johnny Depp like.
Yes, he does a video with Johnny Depp in it or something, like, because Johnny Depp is considered a musician to some of these guys, like Jeff Beck and stuff.
It's very strange, but whatever.
Well, I thought that was like cool because that Dave Grohl, like, even if like Foo Fighters music is really simplistic, but it's like, I like it. Like, I like simplistic things, or somebody that just loves doing what they do. And I was really curious if they were going to actually continue or not, or Dave Grohl would keep performing. And it looks like he will. As we start wrapping up here, we talked about this a long time ago. Did you see this Gabby Petito case, the developments this week?
Oh, the note that Brian wrote confessing to the murder. Insane. Yeah.
Well, So what Sophie is talking about, you guys, is that finally the journals that were released, that were found next to his body, he had committed suicide. The pages were finally released, and he does admit to doing that. But the part that I find interesting about this whole thing is that he kind of makes excuses, and I think actually clouds it, saying that he put her out of her misery because she fell and hurt herself so badly and they would not be able to make it to a hospital. So he thought he was doing the humane thing. And this is what I'm saying. So once again, he's saving his own ass because he wants to look all right for his parents and stuff like that, because it's just so ridiculous. He says, I'm sorry to everyone this will affect. Gabby was the love of my life, but I know adored by many. I'm so very sorry to her family because I love them. I don't know the extent of Gabby's injuries, only that she was in extreme pain. I ended her life. I thought it was merciful. That is what she wanted, but I see now all the mistakes I made. I panicked. I was in shock, but from the moment I decided to take away her pain, I knew I couldn't go on without her. And he continues.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like quote unquote closure, but it's probably not true. So yeah,
Well,
trying to make him seem like a merciful person.
And then ends the letter, you guys, with, please pick up all of my things. Gabby hated people who litter.
I actually was reading also that they actually weren't that far from like being able to drive to a hospital. It
Yes.
would have been not crazy to drive to a hospital. It's not like yeah. Don't believe.
Well, I'm saying, like, this is like a complete kind of bullshit lie, is that he harmed her. Like, I'm sorry, this wasn't, he harmed her, and that was that. And then, he made up this huge, like, kind of like thing that didn't happen so he could like save face with his parents. He was still going to kill himself, but at least he could die, with that could be an explanation. Like, oh, he had no other choice, and I just find that so ridiculous. Yeah, I also find it ridiculous that TMZ had first pictures of the Lifetime movie that is currently just got wrapped filming, which is like, sometimes I feel like Lifetime maybe is a little too like close to the actual, like maybe like wait a couple of years. Like, do you really like, I mean, we're still finding, like, this just came out.
It's too soon.
It really, like, but obviously this thing is not going to even have this letter that he wrote in it. So you're only going to get some half-ass story. And listen, I love a cheesy Lifetime movie, but some of them are just great when they're just completely made up stories where a babysitter sleeps with a abusive husband,
Right.
Right. What are you guys?
I love them though.
Yeah, I know. I just like the real ones though. Sometimes are lacking for me. The unauthorized Saved by the Bell was great, though. The unauthorized 90210 is great. Ghislaine Maxwell is placed on suicide watch and may seek to delay her Tuesday sentencing for aiding Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse. So we find out supposedly on Tuesday, but people want her to spend at least 30 years in prison. So I guess we'll find that out on Tuesday. Any opinions on anything you've heard about Ghislaine Maxwell since she has been in jail or prison?
They better not let her die. I think it's crazy that we still haven't gotten like names and stuff.
Well, that's it. Like, so many crazy things happen after that we still have like, yo, he was at a federal like security prison and he was able, like, just weird. And the people that were guarding him all had these random weird excuses. Like, it's so interesting. Right. This week we have Thor: Love and Thunder premiering, the movie. Natalie Portman, directed by Taika Waititi. Will you be seeing Thor with your love?
No, absolutely not.
He doesn't want to see Thor?
He probably will, but I'm not going to see it with him. I learned my lesson at
Doctor Strange
of Madness. Yeah.
Did you tell him afterwards, like, you blew it? I'll never see one of these with you again.
Yeah, he knows. It was horrible. Horrible.
Okay, what are you guys watching anything on the TV tonight? What are you, because it's late there in New York? What's the rest of the day?
I want to watch Southern Charm, so I'm gonna do that now.
So Sophie is going to go watch Southern Charm right now. I don't know if we'll be doing a show next week because it's the 4th of July, but if not, we will be talking, I'm sure, the next week. So you will be up to date by then, I'm sure. Well, I mean, Summer of Sophie, though, is anything going on in this next? Are we still traveling across country every weekend?
No, we're going to the Jersey Shore, which is not far. I know, I like haven't been home during a weekend in so long.
I mean, you truly haven't. Like, honestly, you've been place to place every weekend.
I know. We're like, I don't know why. We've just been like all over the place. But yeah, it's a holiday weekend, so we're gonna go to Jersey Shore, and then the weekend after that we have a wedding. And yeah.
A wedding. Wow. What do you guys, what's coming up on the Substack for people so we can get titillated?
Actually,
or the super
yeah.
follow?
I this past weekend with Roe v. Wade stuff, I was like, I feel like I want to touch on some of that stuff in my Substack. First of all, that, and then also I'm gonna write about the Daily Harvest stuff too, if you want to know more.
As a writer, how do you work through your rage to actually present information? Sometimes I just kind of shoot from the hip and it's a lot of like, how do you make sure it's not all rage and that you're actually presenting your argument?
With my rage, it actually helps. Like, it's like an outlet where I can kind of like let it out, and like, but I think it's good to write with like passion and write about something you're passionate about. And, so
yeah. Okay, guys. So that link will be on the show notes, but if you have any questions, just let me know. Sophie Ross, thank you so much for this. And I hope you have a great week.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great week. Love ya.